Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual, guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. Forgive the lighting. There was a freak storm in my neighborhood and electricity went out. But I needed to bring this to you guys' attention. NEO, without a doubt, is going to become profitable. And we are profitable in this quarter as we speak. It is hurting the company a little bit in terms of the European sales due to research and development costs had to slow down in order to become profitable. And also the customer experience is hurting from that, and we'll get into that. However, there's no doubt we will become profitable. Also, this proves that, see, NEO is cutting costs in a massive way to show profitability. And of course, we know with the ramp up, with all the research and development that we've put into place, is now showing fruition with the ES8 being sold in a massive way because of its superiority, superior experience, superior product, superior customer service. But what else did they just do? Well, 3 years after its initial announcement and following multiple delays, NEO began mass producing its 150 kilowatt semi-solid state battery in 2024. However, they stopped. They're not going to be producing them anymore. And you might say to yourself, it's a long-range battery pack, first unveiled at NEO's annual event in January 2021, and it has been proven more valuable as a marketing tool as a product customers already use, CEO William Lee said, effectively ruling out its introduction to European markets. They will not be ruling it out in the European markets. He said, we mass produced a 150 kilowatt hour battery pack last year in China. We have produced several hundreds of packs, Lee said, without specifying when production stopped. According to NEO User's Manual, the 150 kilowatt hour battery pack increases over 100 kilowatt hour version. The battery is compatible with NEO's entire range. And we all remember when the CEO demonstrated this battery in a live stream in December 2023, and he drove it to 1,044 kilometers at the time. It could have gone even further, but he stopped at that. But he said, despite the technical achievement, customers' adoption fell short of expectation. He says it's true that the battery pack has a very long range and it has a very high energy density. It's very safe, but it also a little bit more pricier than the average battery packs, he said. And we all knew that it was therefore just for the rental, for the battery as a service, which was genius at the time. However, he said, we deployed the battery packs, providing our users the option to flexibly upgrade to 150 kilowatt hour. We found that actually they are not using the pack now, often as we expected. And a lot of that is attributed to the fact that when NEO did that, guys, they needed to do it because of range anxiety. The same range anxiety we see now that XPeng, BYD, Tesla, and the rest of the field is experiencing because they don't have battery swapping, right? So they have to do hybrids. They still have to do range extenders. They still have to come up with solid state and semi-solid state batteries, especially BYD. Now, this battery will still work for us if we go into African regions, Middle Eastern regions, and other countries where there is range anxiety, where there isn't infrastructure. But in China, there's no need for that anymore when you're a NEO user, because, like I said, when we first did the 150 kilowatt hour battery pack, there was still range anxiety because NEO did not have the type of infrastructure built out. No EV company had, but especially battery swap stations, we were still lacking. We were still ramping up and building them out. Now people realize they don't need NEO users don't need a 150 kilowatt hour battery pack because they have enough battery swap stations. range anxiety is totally out of the equation. This is why 80% and more of NEO users choose battery as a service. Boom! So it was genius at the time we did it, and now it's redundant. This is how quickly technology keeps, you have to keep up with technology, and how quickly technology makes things outdated. This is one of the main reasons why NEO needs to keep doing research and development. However, he said there are two main reasons. The company founder and CEO William Lee stated the first reason, which is also the primary reason, when it comes to NEO founders were asked about the gap on the software capabilities between the European markets and the Chinese market. There is a big gap. He says there are two main reasons, the company founder said, which is also the primary reason, is because of the limited resources available to us this year. Because remember, NEO has to cut back in order to become a profitable company, which they are right now, like I said, as we speak. We just have to wait for them to do the earnings report. As the Shanghai headquartered group targets to reach its first profitable quarter in the final 3 months of 2025, the management admitted that it cut on R&D investments is the main reason for the slower rollout. As we are under the financial pressure, the CEO said, in that case, we are more prudent in making investments and also in doing calculations, the CEO said, adding they have to be very honest with that. He said Lee continued by mentioning ADAS, Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, improvements as one of the most anticipated areas by owners, defending that the low volume in Europe makes the investment very costly per unit. So it's just like battery swapping. With ADAS, the more people adopt it in Europe, will make it more profitable for us, and therefore we could continue to do research and development and make it available for the Europeans. Same as with battery swapping. In the beginning it was unprofitable. Most of the stations were unprofitable. Now we know most of the stations are profitable, and this is why the CEO said it will be sudden and massive this year. The profitability will be sudden and it will be massive, but it will be the same thing going into Europe. It will take time, and this is why, I took some heat for saying it, but this is why I said we're not going to shoot to $100 a share price right away, because in China we will be successful. We are successful. In fact, let me not say we will be successful. We are successful in China. We will be successful in Europe. We will be successful in Canada, which we're about to enter. We will be successful in the Caribbean, Latin America, etc., etc. But it will take time, especially in Europe where the tariffs are. And this is why I've always said it's a long-term game, and this is not an instant gratification company. Now, when it comes to diversification and diversifying your portfolio, even Neo San Francisco has said it to me. He has other stocks in his portfolio as well, and so do I. The difference is the majority, if not every single stock that I have, which I don't recommend to you guys to do, is in China. Because I see the rise of China, I see the BRICS nations, just like I agree with what Ray Dalio said, another one of my investors, favorite investors, all-time investors. Use history as your teacher. So this is why now I believe, and I've always been totally honest with you guys from the start, I kept buying up to where I have a little more than 24,000 shares together with my son now of NEO, and my average share price is way lower than what it is trading for right now. Therefore, I started diversifying heavier into other companies that is not doing what NEO is doing in terms of like Costco shipping, UXIN, which is directly related to NEO because they're selling NEO cars. They did a partnership with CATL before even NEO did. It's a used car company, and I spoke about them. I have shares of Sun Car Technology Group and others that I keep diversifying into companies that pay dividends and high growth, high risk companies, just like NEO was, and is not high risk anymore in my opinion. But I believe in the business model, I believe in the CEO, I believe in the delivery system, and I believe in the product. combined, this is why I chose NEO, and this is why I'm choosing these other companies now. And I just let my NEO shares sit. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys I'm still buying, I'm still buying. No, when NEO had fell all the way into the $3 range, that's when I went in even harder, and I was selling everything that I have just to get more shares of NEO. Now I'm getting back into some of those companies that are still down. So I hope you guys found this video yet again to be informational, inspirational, and motivational. If so, guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level up as to how the games are played on Wall Street. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.